then there were two. What's going on, everybody? Mike Tipton hanging out here with the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. We are live on YouTube, X, on Facebook. We are also live on Roku via the National Streaming Sports app. Download National Streaming Sports and check out all they have to offer. Wonderful, wonderful football content, but not just that. Boxing content, basketball content, you name it, they've got it over at National Streaming Sports. We are brought to you by our friends over at RevAutoCarCare.com. That's RevAutoCarCare.com. Use promo code Tipton33 and save up to 15% on all of your car care needs. Tommy Cananza saying, what's good, Tip? I know what isn't. The effing Dallas Cowboys. Oof, hard to be wearing this hat today, Tommy, but you know what? I'm down with you, man. I get exactly what it is that you were saying right there with the Dallas Cowboys. Tough to watch what that team did over this past weekend, but you know what? We should have expected it. I mean, I was trying to basically tell everybody, you know what? I know they're going to lose. That was my mindset. I know they were going to lose. Just be competitive, and they weren't. It was reverting back to the Dallas Cowboys of old. 2 games against the Philadelphia Eagles and 9 total turnovers. The first time the Eagles have swept the Dallas Cowboys since 2011, and it's been that kind of season for the Dallas Cowboys. But you know what? We should have expected it. Of course, obviously, you know, my whole mindset was if you're going to lose, be competitive. They were not competitive at all. It was just terrible, terrible, terrible way to end the season for the Dallas Cowboys. And I know the season's not over. We got one more game against the Washington Commanders. Washington has nothing to play for. The Cowboys have nothing to play for. Tommy Cananza going on to say the Fire Mike McCarthy movement has got a little more gas. That's what you're all about, my dude. That's what I'm about right now as well. There needs to be a change in Dallas as far as head coaching goes. Now, the question that I have, again with the Dallas Cowboys, is what more needs to happen, right? Like, obviously there were issues to CeeDee Lamb. You know, he's injured. Dak Prescott was injured. A lot of the offensive line, a lot of the defensive line. Like, there's been issues with the Dallas Cowboys basically staying healthy all season long. What is the cause of all that? And I get it, you know, some years you're going to have a lot of injuries, some years you're not going to have injuries. But what is the cause of all the injuries in Dallas? Is it just, you know, the training staff not doing what they need to do? What is the root cause here? What like how can we get to this? Because, and I can't even say this with confidence, but we saw that whenever this team was healthy last year, they were a 12-win team. This year, more than likely going to get 7 wins. This is where it's going to stop. 7-10 is how they end the season, right? I can't put faith in the Dallas Cowboys beating the Washington Commanders right now. Knowing that Washington needs to stay hot, I think that they're going to play most of their starters. I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to play, but I think Washington's going to play most of their starters. And I look at the Dallas Cowboys and I say to myself, it wasn't just that this team wasn't healthy, because whenever they were healthy, for the most part, they were getting trounced by the likes of the New Orleans Saints, who, fast forward, are also a bad team. Now, the Dallas Cowboys have a lot more questions and answers going into the playoffs, going into the offseason, rather. So we'll see what happens with them moving forward. But to me, I have zero faith in the Dallas Cowboys, anything that the Dallas Cowboys can pull off. And I just sit here thinking to myself, man, I think the window for the Dallas Cowboys is, if not closing, it is slowly on its way, because, man, like there's so many issues navigating the salary cap, who's going to be the coach, just things like that with the Dallas Cowboys that you really have to question if you are a true Dallas Cowboys fan, right? I know the thing that everyone says about Cowboys fans is it's always your year next year. I don't feel that way. I've never felt that way. I just don't think that the Dallas Cowboys have what it takes as the way that they're built right now. Like there has to be a massive overhaul. Oli Arena saying that it's her birthday. Happy birthday to you, Oli. Turning 21 years old. So congratulations on that. You finally get to have your first legal alcoholic beverage. But happy birthday. I hope you enjoy the birthday here. I've always wondered about like people that are born this close to Christmas, people that are born this close to New Year's. Is it just like a constant party? Right? Like I've got 11, or I'm the youngest of 11 that I grew up with. I think it's a total of like 18 siblings is what I've got. And I know that my brother being born on December 22nd was just him being born on December 22nd. I grew up country as all hell. We got a single present, and I know that he had one present for both Christmas and his birthday. Like it was just combined, that one present. Good for you. Go out there and be somebody. That type of way is the way that we grew up. So I'm wondering for other people, was it just like a long celebration of you? I make jokes about that because my birthday is in February 17th. So I'll be like, look, all, week of the 17th is my birthday week, but I do absolutely nothing. If I can stay home and watch the NBA All-Star game, which I know sounds pretty pathetic in hindsight, now that I said it out loud, if I can watch the NBA All-Star game, I'm a happy guy. That should show you how easy it is for me to be happy, right? The crappiest All-Star game of all, and it makes me a happy guy watching the NBA All-Star game for my birthday. Jesus Christ, I need to get a life. Oli Arena saying it's either birthday or Christmas present. Never had friends over for her birthday. Dang. Okay, well, I mean, trust me, I get that. I totally get that. But mine's more because I just don't want to be around people. I'm a very reclusive individual. I feel like doing this from home is going to be something that turns me into a hermit as I get older, right? Like I don't have to go anywhere anymore. I can just be a hermit. I'll be down at the Sun Bowl in like a hoodie over my head and just pointing directions of what pictures I want people to be taking. Like that's what I'm going to be in my very, very near future. It's going to be glorious to just be a shut-in, to be agoraphobic is what my future is going to be, and I am looking forward to it with just great anticipation. What I'm not looking forward to with great anticipation, look at that transition, is the NFL playoff picture right now. Whenever you look at the teams that have clinched, you've got in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens. They aren't clinched in their spot, but they're clinched in the playoffs. The Houston Texans, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the LA Chargers. Teams that are still on the bubble, somehow, some way, the Denver Broncos, the Miami Dolphins, and the Cincinnati Bengals. That's it. Just those three teams right there. Those are the only teams that we need to go through to decide who's going to be in the playoffs. My guy, Matt Gleason, former first sergeant in the United States Air Force, saying Instacart and Amazon, everything to the house. My dude, learning about like the Walmart delivery and all that stuff was life-changing. Absolutely life-changing. I'm like, I don't have to go to Walmart and deal with all the mouth breathers that encompass Walmart. I'm a happy guy. like all the delivery stuff, all the services like that, I can be reclusive and live a decent life. And I also get beer delivered to me by beerbox.com. I mean, Jesus Christ, guys, this is amazing. Which I also thought wasn't going to be a thing because you're not allowed to ship alcohol in Texas. So I don't know how Beerbox gets away with it. What are you doing over there, Beerbox? Jesus Christ, man. I'm hearing my own voice and I sound like ass. Can I say that on Roku via National Streaming Sports? Yes, I can, because I just did it. Oliarena saying she can't stand being home. She's got to go out. I get it. I understand that people are like that. Me, not so much. The mouth breathers at all the stores. I had to go Christmas shopping, and I was like, you know what? I've been home. I've been shut in all this time. Let me just go shopping. And I hated every gosh darn second of it. I was going to say another word, but I decided to go goofy with it and be like, gosh darn. I can't even do that voice right now. Jesus, what's going on with me? Thank you for those that are saying that I sound amazing. I appreciate that. I know I don't, but thank you for gassing me up. Need the support crew of people gassing me up, making it seem as if I sound good. Augustine Pimentel saying, good morning to all Dallas Cowboys fans. My guy, your team is going to be picking number 1 overall. Not the time for you to be talking at all. Got the D in his mouth, the big D in his mouth. Looking at the playoff picture in the NFC, all but one team has clinched. Those teams are the Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Los Angeles Rams, the Minnesota Vikings, the Washington Commanders, and the Green Bay Packers. The only position that is up for grabs right now is between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. Whoever wins the fledgling NFC South is going to be in the playoffs hosting a playoff game. It sounds sacrilegious, but that's what's going to happen. Tommy Cananza going on to say that Augustine can't keep the big D out of his mouth and in his thoughts too. It's the only thing he can think about. It's insane. Again, probably not a whole content that I should be putting out on Roku via National Streaming Sports, but you know what? We're here. We are here. Augustine saying, I've had 5 years of crap. That's it. I'm not old enough to remember the 80s. My guy, you are exponentially older than I am. I am a 40-year-old man with a bunch of white in my beard. You look to be at least 75. If you're not, I will be surprised. I have a theory that the entire city of El Paso, all of West Texas, was built simply around you. This entire region, all 3 whatever million people in Juarez, El Paso, and Las Cruces were built around you at your ripe old age of 7,647. What was it like watching Oñate walk through here? That's a deep cut for a lot of people right there if they hear me reference anything Oñate. Augustine saying, I'm 43, you look 116. He's been a fan, or not a fan, I guess a supporter since day one. I don't like saying that I have fans. I have supporters of this show. Few and far between, right? I basically refer to the Marines. The few, the not so proud. I don't think anyone's going out there being like, you know who I listen to? Mike Tipton. No one's saying that. Absolutely no one is saying that. If you are, you're a braver person than I. I don't even say like people will be like, you sound familiar. I'll be like, I do. Augustine saying that's Moses' age. I saw Maximus in the stadium. I'm sure you did. It must have been great growing up and all that. Yeah. Tommy Cananza saying the Tippies. That should be the name of the supporter base, the Tippies. I've always wanted to say the Tip Heads, but I also feel like that is that's a bit much. I'm all about innuendo, but tip head is just over the top. Like no one should be referred to as a tip head. I like the Tippies though. I do have the annual Tippy Awards are going to be presented in January, mid-January. We're going to have the Tippy Awards. I'm going to build a small, I guess, certificate that I can give to people that win Tippy Awards. Even if it's an NFL team, I'll ship it out to them. Like the Dallas Cowboys, they could be the winner of You Disappoint Me the Way I Disappoint My Parents Award. Speaking of parents, I actually got a phone call yesterday and I just didn't answer it. Terrible son that I am. But you know what? At 95 years old, maybe he wasn't calling me. He was just calling somebody else. At least that's the way that I think about things here. Tommy Canazza saying, yeah, definitely not the tip heads. No, 100%. And again, younger me would have been all about it. So the Tippies, I think, there we go. Well, I'll just get a shirt that says I'm a Tippy. And it'll be like one of those like tie-dye shirts. It looks super groovy. And people will be like, look at that hippie over there. Oh, wait, what is that? What do you say? Oh, you're a Tippy, you are. Why I made them Irish all of a sudden, I don't know. Linda McGrath saying, watching on Roku, so the playoffs almost start. Who is your dark horse in the NFC and the AFC? Oh, Linda, you are going to learn something about me that I feel is going to be, one, disappointing, and two, massively revealing. I don't believe in dark horses. I really don't. Only 7 teams make the playoffs. You have to be better than, almost 2/3 of the remainder of the league. I don't know if I would say that anyone that makes the playoffs should ever be considered a dark horse. Now, with that being said, would I be surprised if certain teams win? It depends on what you expect surprise to be. Like Augustine over here saying the Rams, right? Like the Rams. That's a team that all of us would say that's a surprising team. I would be very surprised if the Rams made it to the Super Bowl. If they made it to the NFC Championship game, not so much. This is a team that just a couple of years ago won the whole Super Bowl. They're led by a Hall of Fame quarterback in Matt Stafford. This team is a proven winner. Obviously, they had to navigate and go through all of the injuries this season. Every team has to do that. They've just gotten hot at the right time, right? So I look at the Rams and I sit here and I think to myself, maybe. But can you be surprised? Like if the Rams win this week, can you be surprised that a team that goes 11-6 makes it deep into the playoffs? And I'm just not that kind of person. In the AFC, I look at all of these teams, and outside of Denver and the Chargers, and if I'm being perfectly transparent here, I don't think the Chargers and the Broncos have any shot in hell of making it deep into the playoffs. They might win a game, but look who, like, if the playoffs started today, Denver's playing Buffalo. You would have to be the most die-hard Denver Broncos fan to say that they have a shot against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo already clinching the 2 seed. It's done, right? Like they have nothing to worry about. They are locked in. The same with Kansas City being locked in at number 1. What is going to happen? Denver, Buffalo. I get it. The sun shines on a dog's rear end every now and again. Denver ain't that dog, right? The same thing with the Chargers. If the playoffs start today, we get the Horror Bowl. Do we think that the Chargers are better than the Ravens? No. Right? So I guess that would be a surprise, but then I honestly believe that those teams, if they won by some miracle, would wind up losing in the next round of the playoffs. Like I don't see sustained playoff runs for those teams. Tampa Bay, you're not making the Super Bowl. You're not making the NFC Championship game. Hell, they might be upset in the first round, right? That's the worst team in the NFC right now. I look at Green Bay, I look at Washington, I look at Minnesota, I look at the Rams, I look at Philadelphia, I look at Detroit. None of those teams would really shock me, right? Washington winning the Super Bowl along with the Rams winning the Super Bowl, that would be shocking. Very, very shocking. I don't think that those teams are going to go that far. I don't put stock in, well, maybe. Someone yesterday on Facebook was like, why aren't we talking about Jaden Daniels as MVP? Really? Jaden Daniels should be the MVP over what Saquon Barkley is doing as he eclipses 2,000 yards and is eyeing Eric Dickerson's record, and we can talk about that coming up in just a little bit, over what Josh Allen is doing, over what Lamar Jackson is doing. No way. No way in hell. Tommy Canazzo saying, I'm going to hate it if it's Washington and Philadelphia in round 1. I will be hate watching that game, but I am here for the chaos of Washington beating Philadelphia in Philadelphia in the first round of the playoffs. Just in my veins, brother. Like that's how I want it to be. That's how I need it to be. I am a big hater. I got no problem saying, calling a spade a spade. I am a hater of the Philadelphia Eagles. I was hate watching the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys yesterday, just thinking to myself, and I've never had this thought before, but just hurt somebody. I saw Kenny Pickett go down, and I damn near celebrated. I started doing it gritty. I was doing all kinds of stuff. It was just, I cannot stand the Philadelphia Eagles. Their fan base of all fan bases complaining about not getting a holding call. Jesus Christ. Tommy Canazzo saying, I'm definitely going to root for Washington to win, but I'm going to hate it and I'm going to love it at the same time. I think that that's where I'm at right now, right? Like, because the Cowboys have been so bad this year, I've just been hate watching every single game. I was watching yesterday, like the Falcons and the Commanders. Sunday Night Football, great game. And I'm sitting here thinking about this game, and I'm hoping that the Commanders lose and that the Falcons win. And I have no care in the world about the Atlanta Falcons. They're one of those teams that'll be like, oh yeah, the Falcons, they exist, right? They're an NFL team. Keep forgetting about them. Love a lefty quarterback, so Michael Penix is going to be my guy for right now. But I'm watching these games, and I'm just wanting everyone to lose. I feel like I'm the Grinch of football right now. Right? like I watch these games hoping for worst case scenarios. I'm like, hopefully an asteroid hits the Giants and we're good to go. Like if I'm watching TV and an asteroid hits the Giants, I'll be like, you know what? This is a good time for me to just thank you. Like this is how I want to go. I'm tired of all the sports at this moment. Augustine saying, what a game yesterday. By the way, I don't hate the Cowboys. The fans, though, oh God. I mean, that's again the tired excuse of I don't hate the Cowboys. I hate their fans. Why? Right? Like that. That's the Stephen A. I guess quote that he likes to use is I got nothing against the Dallas Cowboys. But they're fans, though. Like that's what I'm getting ready to hear coming out of you as a Stephen A. Wait a minute. That whole stuff that Stephen A. loves to do. Why the fans? Because they have optimism? You have optimism. Why can't Dallas Cowboys fans have optimism? I'm just wondering here, right? Wondering aloud. But going back to Linda's question, who is my dark horse? If I had to choose a dark horse, quote unquote dark horse, in the AFC, and again, like I can't even say it because I don't necessarily believe it. I think it'll be the Baltimore Ravens, right? I think everyone looks at Kansas City, everyone looks at Buffalo, and we see a variable gulf between everyone else. Right? It's the old adage from Moneyball, if you've ever watched Moneyball, where the Billy Bean character is like, there's teams that have money, there's teams that don't have money, then there's 50 feet of crap, and then there's us. That's what I feel like it is between Kansas City, Buffalo, and then everyone else in the AFC. Tommy Canonso saying, I'm a bad person. I was watching and thinking that it would be nice if Saquon broke a foot or something. LOL. I wouldn't go far enough to say an ACL, so I guess I'm not that bad of a person. I would be lying too if I wasn't thinking to myself, man, what if like just a high ankle sprain, right? Like just a twist and a hyperextension on the knee where you've got to miss 3 weeks. And what would those 3 weeks be like for the Philadelphia Eagles? Augustine saying the Ravens, a dark horse? Ravens? A dark horse? And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think any team in the playoffs is a dark horse. You're giving me crap for saying that the 3 seed in the AFC is a dark horse. You just called the 3 seed in the NFC a dark horse. They have a very similar record. Baltimore 11-5, the Rams 10-6. There's not much of a difference between those teams. I don't see either one of them being necessarily a dark horse. So for me, like I'd have to believe that the 7 or 6 seed would be able to win a Super Bowl, right? Maybe Green Bay, you can say is a dark horse, but I've watched Green Bay all year. They're 11-5. They would be the 3 seed in the NFC or in the AFC. They have the same record as the 3 seed in the AFC. They just happen to play in what is the most dominant division in the NFL right now. I don't think we've ever seen a division like this. And if the Lions win today against the San Francisco 49ers, next week's Week 18 matchup between the 14-win Minnesota Vikings and the 14-win, which is insane to say, Detroit Lions, is going to determine the number 1 overall seed. It'll be the only time in NFL history that we've had a matchup of 2 teams that have won a combined 28 games. That is a mind-blowing fact. Green Bay in any other division is a division winner. It's crazy to think about that. They just happen to have to go up against the juggernaut that is the Detroit Lions and the saw blade that is the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold playing his mind out right now. If you saw the celebration in the locker room that Sam Darnold had, that's a dude that has dealt with all kinds of adversity over the course of his career that was just finally being like, I am vindicated as an NFL player. It was awesome to see that. That storyline right there of what he had to navigate and meander through. That's a great story. You can't, no team in the playoffs is a dark horse, at least in my mind, right? And I know that that's not a conversation that creates, headlines and sexiness and all this and that, but I'm also a firm believer in, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And right now the man is the Kansas City Chiefs. Every eye in the NFL has a target on the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the better storyline here, right? We've seen the Chiefs be on the struggle bus all year long, and we have doubted them all season long. We have doubted this team, and we sit here and say to ourselves, they're 15-1. They're the number one team in all of football right now. And we're looking at Buffalo at 13-3, at Detroit at 13-2, at Minnesota at 14-2 right now. And those are amazing teams. And somehow, some way, the Kansas City Chiefs are 15-1. You can call it luck. You can call it being good. You can call it whatever you want to call it. The facts are they're 15-1. They are dominating. They might not be blowing people out, but they are dominating the NFL right now. The only team they lost to has 13 wins on the season. That's it. And they might lose to Denver because you have nothing to play for this upcoming week. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, look at them. They lost a couple of games this year. Who cares? No one's going to play in that Denver game. If it was me, and I'm me being the jerk that I am, I was going to say, if I'm Kansas City, I have all my starters in that game, and I throttle the Denver Broncos. Nothing would make me happier as a Kansas City Chiefs player, fan, supporter, whatever, than throttling the Broncos and making sure they don't get into the playoffs. Just establishing my dominance on them, putting my foot on their neck and watching their playoff hopes leave their body as though their soul was on its way to Hades where it belongs. But that's just me as a fan. Like that's how I am as an individual, right? I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen the movie Grown Ups, but it's Adam Sandler, Selma Hayek, and all them, right? And at the end of the movie, Adam Sandler's character is a good basketball player, and he never misses a bank shot. But he looks over and he sees the guy that he beat 40 years ago, and the guy has been struggling in life. And what he does is he misses the bank shot to let that guy think, I'm a winner. And I sit there and I watch that scene every single time, and I say to myself, there ain't a damn way in hell I'm missing that shot. I am making that shot. I'm looking over at him as I see the pain and frustration in this individual's soul, and I know that I am the cause of that. Your tears sustain me. Augustine Pimentel saying, wow, talk about dark. Yeah, I got dark really quick. That's, again, I don't talk about like any of the stuff that I do athletically. I play basketball with a lot of people. A lot of my friends from back in the day know this. I will let you win the first game because now it means you think you have a chance. And every single game after that, I will beat you into the ground until you realize that even though I'm thicker than thick, the boy can ball. That's simple. How can you stop a guy that can shoot with both hands from distance with accuracy? Come on, guys. Just because I'm 5'10" don't mean I can't ball. It did. Stephen A. Tipton there. Stephen A. Tipton, I like it. I like it. I'm going on, looking over here, going through the comment section. Tommy Canazza saying, nah, he can still play on that. A broken foot would definitely keep him out the rest of the year. What about like a stress fracture that goes just right down the middle of the foot? I would like that. right? Like that's what we got to go for over here. Augustine or Tommy Canazza saying, give him another 40 years of misery. Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm the type of person that I will force myself to outlive somebody just to be there at their funeral and laugh. Like, you nerd, you couldn't even beat me in living. Like that. That's the type of person that I am. Whenever I see people on the sidelines and they got into a fight and they start hugging it out at the end of the game, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? I just had a revelation right here, y'all. I was always talking about Michael Jordan, right? And I saw that Last Dance documentary. And I thought to myself, you have to be some sort of a sociopath to create stories in your mind that some guy in the stands gave you a look and now you're going to drop 50 on everybody else, right? Like you've got to be a crazy individual to be able to do that stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, that's me. I'm not Michael Jordan by any means, but I will hold on to whatever inkling I can just to watch somebody that has wronged me or perceived wronged me to suffer. I think I'm gonna have to go to therapy, man. Like this is normally my therapy couch. I just had that revelation to myself. Jesus Christ. Maybe again, born on Jordan's birthday and Jordan's rookie year, maybe we both have that in common. We are just sociopathic people that want to see the people that have done us wrong suffer. Suffer. And meanwhile, I'm suffering as a Dallas Cowboys fan because Jesus Christ, they are terrible. Remember, everybody, you are watching the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. We are live on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, and of course on Roku via the National Streaming Sports app. Shout out to Linda McGrath and to Mac and the whole crew over there that are doing an amazing job at National Streaming Sports. We're going to take a quick break. Whenever we come back here on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, we are going to continue breaking down playoff scenarios. There are 5 teams that can get in. But there's a lot of positions that are up for grabs right now. We'll talk about that and more whenever we come back here on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton on Roku, on X, on YouTube, and on Facebook. James Montoya, thank you so much for joining us here. What is it that you want to talk about? You got some pretty cool stuff out here.
We do. So, the Sun Bowl, it's a cherished tradition for El Pasoans and our families and folks from out of town. But we know and we recognize that some people partake in this celebration with some adult beverages. And so we just want to make sure that people drink responsibly and that they get home safe from the Sun Bowl and on New Year's Eve. And so right now, the District Attorney's Office under DA Bill Hicks secured a grant from TxDOT, the Texas Department of Transportation, for free Uber rides on New Year's Eve, starting on December 31st, for people to get home. And so there's going to be 800 free Uber rides up to $20. They're $20 vouchers. You input it in your phone and you'll get that ride. And they start at 10 a.m. On the day of the game. And hopefully people use them up fairly quickly, but they will last up until 5 a.m. on New Year's Day. So you don't have to be at the game to use them. You can use them if you're out and about on New Year's Eve. We just really want people to get home safely. So it's a QR code that you have to file or scan from your phone. It'll be available on the District Attorney's social media page, which is EP District Attorney's Office. It'll also be available on the Sun Bowl Association, the website. And so you input the QR code and you get the voucher. Right. It's not a crime to have a good time. It's not a crime to drink alcohol. But when you make a choice to get behind the wheel after you've had too much, then it becomes an issue. And I hate to see it, especially during the holidays. People have lost their loved ones during this time. 10 years ago on Christmas Eve, we lost 3 young adults forever because of the choices of one person. And I know that people don't set out to kill someone that day, but it happens. And this crime is 100% preventable. People just need to make a plan. If you're going out and you're having a good time and then you're trying to figure out a way to get home, by then it's too late. You need to make a plan before you head out how you're getting home that night.
Oh, hello. I'm Mike Tipton. I want to tell you about the perfect gift this holiday season.
The Bulber's dual-sided ergonomic design allows it to go both ways, meaning you can shave in either direction. The slim shape is optimal for trimming those hard-to-reach areas. It's also nut safe, providing a 30-degree pivoting blade that is engineered for nut keeping. Say goodbye to the cuts, nicks, pulling, tugging, and snaps. If you're looking for stamina, it's got exactly what you need. With its long-lasting lithium rechargeable battery, it can last up to 150 minutes on one charge. The Bulber is IPX7 waterproof, which means it can have fun, dry, or wet. Visit www.myhappynuts.com/Mike Tipton to give your man the perfect package for his package.
I need to start creating like little bumpers, I guess, that help bring me back, so it's not just so abrupt of commercials over, now here's my goofy ass face, right? Give a shout out to our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com/Mike Tipton, end of year savings event that they have going on, up to 40% off of different bundles all the way through the first week of January. Check out what they've got over at www.myhappynuts.com/Mike Tipton, or use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout. Save yourself a little bit of dinero while you take care of yourself where you need to be taken care of. 2025 New Year's resolution: no more chafing, no more swamp ass, none of that stuff. New Year's resolution: take care of yourself. Make sure your nuts are as happy as my nuts with myhappynuts.com. Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. All the show stuff that we've got going on right here before we went to break. Augustine with, this show is just well wishes to everyone. Happy holidays, everybody. 100% with that one, man. I think I got to dial it back. I think I opened up a little too much of who I am as an individual person over those last couple of minutes whenever the segments had to come to an end. Like I was saying, we're looking at some of the stuff that happened over the week. Or over the weekend, I guess. Damn, you can't even really say that because games started on Wednesday. It was once again just a plethora, a smorgasbord of all of the sports that we could possibly handle, all the NFL we can handle, all the bowl games we can handle. I haven't even spoken about the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and I think that might be the best bowl in the history of all bowl games right now. I'm going to the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl tomorrow, and I'm thinking to myself, this game needs to step up how they do stuff and be just like the Pop-Tart Bowl. That game was so much fun to watch. The mascots, all the stuff that they've got going on. The people at the Pop-Tarts Bowl, their group of individuals that keep them going, that do all the marketing, just chef's kiss over to y'all for everything that you're doing. Want to give a shout out to my dude, Mike Golick Jr. He's going to be on some of the calls for the bowl games that are going to be coming up as well. I believe the Duke's Mayo Bowl is one of the bowls that he's going to be covering as well. So a little shout out to him. That's my dude over there. And of course, my guy, Jason Fitz. I've been watching everything you're doing, my dude, with sports this past couple of weeks. Jesus Christ, that man does not get a break. I've seen it in person. Went to Connecticut back in October. He came out, was hanging out with us, got a phone call. Alabama was upset by Vandy, had to go do an hour-long show, came back, got another phone call about an upset, went, did another 30-minute show, came back. Like, that is the way that this man's life is. And to see the stuff that he's doing, everyone out there, what I'm saying is go out, support those guys. They're friends of the show, friends of Tip. They are Tippies as well. And they're doing great things on Yahoo and on the DraftKings network. A little bit of love to my guys, Mike Golick Jr. and to Jason Fitz. I'll pick up those names that I keep on dropping. Now, I'm watching all of these games, especially the NFL games. I'm thinking to myself, this just isn't fun. We had 15 total games over the week, and 6 of those games were a one-score game. And one of those 6 was just kind of like a type of game. Augustine's saying, Tippies, that sounds so, LMAO. Well, my friend, not only are you a tippy, you are the biggest tippy of them all. And I appreciate you. from the bottom of my cold, dark heart as we found out that I have. Again, a real-life Grinch is who Michael Tipton is. All right. But I look at these games, I'm looking at these scores, I'm thinking to myself, this just isn't fun right now. And yesterday, Destiny asked me, she's like, why are people even playing these games? Like, what's the point of the Cowboys playing these games? And the short answer to me was, you're getting paid to do so. End of discussion. But there's also that sense of pride, right? And again, where I get to peel back who I am as an individual, if you can ruin another team's chances of making it to the playoffs or make their path to the playoffs just a little harder, why wouldn't you get that satisfaction, right? If your season was absolutely terrible, why wouldn't you do what you've got to do in order to make sure someone else shares just a small portion of that pain? That's why you play these games. But then you sit back and you watch all of the stuff that you see out there, and you see it kind of went the way we thought it was going to go, right? All these games that were blowouts, the only one that was surprising to me, I guess the only two that were surprising to me, was watching the Raiders get a win over the Saints. Wouldn't have thought that was going to happen because the Raiders are garbage. And then the Giants, Linda McGrath's Giants, getting a win over the Indianapolis Colts, eliminating the Indianapolis Colts. And everyone sat there saying, well, the Giants, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing there, guy? Like, why are you even winning that game if it's going to mean that you're not going to have the number one overall pick? And if I'm the Giants, I win that game because now the team that I played is eliminated from the playoffs. I am happy with that. If I'm drafting number 2, not much of a difference in this year's draft class between 1 and 2. Not a quarterback out there that you should draft in that top spot if you're the Giants, right? So why not just go out there, win, ruin someone else's day, and call it a good time? Augustine Pimentel saying the point is money and pride. What pride did you see yesterday? LOL. That right there, what I just mentioned. The Giants, right? Like they've had a horrible season. They go out there, they play, they dominate the Indianapolis Colts 45-33, and they knock the Colts out of the playoffs. I'm all about it, man. Tommy Canazza going on to say that Augustine is a tip head. He's the head of the tip, the head of the tippies. I am with it. That's my guy. He's the number one guy. Augustine saying, so it's a Bart Simpson moment. I don't understand that reference. Maybe it's part of the age gap. 6,000-year-old Augustine showing us a part of his age gap here. Maybe he meant Homer from the Iliad was who he was referencing right there. I don't know what you mean a Bart Simpson moment, my guy. You're going to have to explain that one away to me. But the Giants beating the Colts, knocking the Colts out of the playoffs, again, drinking the tears of the fans of the Indianapolis Colts has to be one of those great moments, right? You've had few and far victories, so few and far victories. You're only 3-13 on the season, 1-8 at home. That was your first home game win. Why not? Why not play your ass off and just ruin something for somebody else? Like, again, this upcoming week, the Cowboys playing against Washington. Should all the Cowboys starters play? No. Should Washington starters play? No. But if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'm making sure that Washington remembers my name. And if they limp into the playoffs and they can't have a full, healthy roster, that's the way you got to go it, man. You got to make them remember who you are. I say that a ton of times too. Like, I don't get into fights, but if I were to get in a fight, I might lose, but you're going to remember me. Like it's that simple. I will take a part of your soul with me for the remainder of eternity, where you will look at a body part that is mangled and say to yourself, that crazy SOB did what he said he was going to do. So you have to ask yourself, do you really want to ride this train, right? I got no problem losing. Jesus Christ, I sound like a sociopath. Again, maybe it's the Aquarius thing. Augustine saying, yes, I was talking about Achilles and Hector. It's Achilles, but I got you. I got you on that one. You seem to me as more of a person that was siding on the side of Paris. I also feel like Augustine would go. He was Agamemnon. That's who Augustine would be. The guy just going to war because he wanted to get Helen of Troy back, right? That's who you would be, Augustine. You're the foil in all this. You're not a hero in any sense. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be this mean. But as I said earlier, we were looking at some of the scenarios that are still out there when it comes to who can be seated where in the playoff picture right now. As we said, the teams that are locked in where they're going to be locked in are the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, the Houston Texans, and that's it in the AFC. All the other positions are still up for grabs. As a matter of fact, there's still a scenario that the Pittsburgh Steelers can be the number 3 seed, get the home field advantage over the Baltimore Ravens. Pittsburgh needs a win. Baltimore needs to take a loss. That's how that happens, right? That's the only way that Pittsburgh can get up to the 3 seed. Pittsburgh wins, Baltimore loses. Not out of the realm of possibilities, but also more than likely not going to be something that happens, right? So if we're looking at the AFC playoff seeding right now, I'm scrolling down to it. Pittsburgh is playing against Cincinnati. Cincinnati still has something to play for. Cincinnati still has an outside shot of making the playoffs as the final wild card team. Depends on what happens in Kansas City and Denver. Baltimore, though, playing the Cleveland Browns. Would the Browns have that mindset of let's spoil this for this team? Let's beat this team and see what we can do? I don't know. The Browns might have that mindset. I don't think they got the horses in order to do it. I think Baltimore's going to win. Baltimore's going to clinch the 3 seed. We don't have anything else to worry about right there. As I said, the number 4 seed with Houston is locked in. Baltimore can still fall to number 5, like I said, with that loss and with Pittsburgh winning. If both teams win, then Pittsburgh is the number 5 seed. But Pittsburgh can also lose the number 5 seed if they lose and the Chargers win. So the Chargers are locked in right now to either 6 or 5. No one wants to be that 7 seed that has to go to Buffalo and play the Buffalo Bills. And I also feel like no one wants to be the 6 seed that has to go to either Pittsburgh or Baltimore because those are tough places to play. So you want to try to be that 5th seed and take on the Houston Texans, who I firmly believe have a lot of chinks in the armor. That can be a team that you can upset at home. So people are going to want to be in that 5 seed. If I'm Pittsburgh, I just win and I clinch that in, we're good to go. But beating Cincinnati isn't as easy as people might think, as I am making it seem as if it can be, right? Cincinnati is going to be a great, like that game. I'm going to be watching that one, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Again, hoping that Pittsburgh loses just because I can't stand the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I just kind of want to see the chaos of Cincinnati making it to the playoffs, springboarded by the huge win that they had over the Dallas Cowboys. It all comes back to the Dallas Cowboys. If not for that win against the Dallas Cowboys, that helps solidify Joe Burrow and them boys as one of those teams that can just be a world-beating team. If not for beating a very game and capable Dallas Cowboys team that has won 4 out of their last 6 games. Don't worry about the first 5 games before that run, but they won 4 out of their last 6 games, and don't worry about that last game. They won 4 out of 5 games up until yesterday. That springboarded the Cincinnati Bengals to give them the momentum and the confidence they needed to continue this season and make a magical run towards the playoffs. Cincinnati, thank the Dallas Cowboys today. Tommy Carranza saying, make them remember forever the night they played the Dallas Cowboys. Remember the Cowboys? Doesn't have the same type of ring, but I'm also not going to say the other team because that team should be the Houston Oilers right now. Remember the Oilers? Augustine saying a Rams-Bengals championship game. Oh, it would be the Super Bowl rematch from a couple of years ago, right? That would be fun. I'm with that. I think that would be fun and chaotic. It's just not going to happen. I don't speak in absolutes. I will absolutely say this. The Rams versus the Bengals in the Super Bowl will not happen. Unless you know something I don't know and you're Biff from Back to the Future and you've got like your sports almanac thing. If that's the case, let me know, my dude. We'll put some money on this because the futures on that have to be paying out a lot of money. There ain't no way that's happening. Tommy Canonsa saying they better send a fruit basket to Mike McCarthy and to AO. You know what, my dude? I'm with it. I am totally, oh my God. Number 27, I know you were injured yesterday, but all that plays in my head is 27 hitting the ball on his forearm, on his bicep, with his head down, just swinging at the ball that way blindly. I can't stand them. I hate that I love that team. I've said it a million times. I was talking with Medusa Designs yesterday as she's watching the game, and she's hate watching every second of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm getting messages from people, should we be upset about the Dallas Cowboys? And my mindset the whole time was no. We knew this was going to happen. We knew this was going to happen. We are fooling ourselves if we think anything else. But the fun question here in the AFC comes down to the 7th seed. The Denver Broncos. All they have to do is win or tie against Kansas City. Win or tie against Kansas City, you're in. The other two teams, Miami, Cincinnati, have no shot if that's the case. There's still a scenario out there where with the win, Cincinnati doesn't get into the playoffs. And that's if Denver loses and Miami wins. Cincinnati needs a lot of help right now. We're not talking about the Miami Dolphins, and I feel like that's a disservice to the Miami Dolphins. This is a fun team to watch. They've got Tua back. They seem to be hitting their stride, going pretty decently. Obviously, got to navigate injuries, got Tyreek Hill, got a bunch of things like that they've got to worry about. But if they can make it in, that's all that matters. Just get in there. Be that 7th seed because that's the only position they can get at. Denver, Cincinnati, Miami, all fighting for that 7th seed. If Miami can get in there, all they need is a win versus the Jets, and the Jets are garbage. It's time for Aaron Rodgers to hang them up. That was a failed experiment. I know he wants to play again next year. It was a failed experiment. Aaron Rodgers, you got to let it go, my guy. You're hurting your legacy right now. It's like watching Patrick Ewing in a Seattle Sonics or Orlando Magic jersey. Akeem Olajuwon with a Toronto Raptors jersey. It just doesn't seem right. Emmitt Smith in an Arizona Cardinals jersey. I try to forget that as often as possible. Miami needs a win against the Jets. They need Denver to lose to the Kansas City Chiefs, which, again, if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm stepping on the throat of the Broncos and eating their soul. That's what I would do. Obviously, I don't know if my team would want to do the same thing. If I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm sitting there looking at him saying, that looks delicious. Let's go eat some Bronco. So we need the Kansas City Chiefs to be sociopaths like me in order to beat the Denver Broncos. Are they going to do that? That's all Miami needs. Broncos lose, you beat the Jets, and you're happy. And it's good with that. Tommy Canonsa saying that Aaron Rodgers is washed and has been for years. I agree 100%. There has not been a drop-off with the Green Bay Packers at all. At all. With the exodus of Aaron Rodgers. They have sustained. They have been just as good. The Jets went out. They got all the talent that they needed to get. They even traded for Devontae Adams. They did what they needed to do to try to placate to Aaron Rodgers, and they are rewarded with what's going to be a top 5 pick. It's time to go, dude. I'm going to watch Enigma later on today because I've been told it's great to watch. And maybe that'll change my mind on it. Maybe soon in the future, I'll want to go and drink ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers. But Jesus, man. Augustine Pimentel going on to say, I only know 2 people with that kind of sociopath. It's Mike Tipton and Hannibal Lecter and Michael Jordan. Let's not forget, Michael Jordan's got to be put in there. Mr. I lost a quarter flipping game to a security guard and then embarrassed him for the remainder of eternity. Like, that's the type of person that Michael Jordan is, right? Some dude on the Washington Bullets at the time said something about me, so I went and I dropped 40 on his head and ended his entire career. Fast forward, MJ, did he really say that stuff to you? Nah. The dude was crying about losing a basketball game more than he was crying about losing his father. If you go back and watch The Last Dance, he's like, my teammates didn't have the same level of expectation that I had. And you see the tears coming out. He becomes a meme once again. He's talking about his dad. Yeah, my dad was shot. What? I love the fact that I am like a huge Jordan fan, but Jesus, man, that guy makes me look like even I have my head screwed on straight. The only difference is he was really good at basketball and he's a billionaire. Other than that, we're the same guy. He's also 6'6", handsome. I'm 5'10", and thicker than a Snicker. Twice as delicious, baby. Okay, everybody. Those are the playoff scenarios. The 7th seed, the Denver Broncos, it can either be them, Miami, or Cincinnati. Cincinnati needs a lot of help. They need a win. They need Denver and Miami to lose. Denver gets in with the win against Kansas City. The Dolphins get in with the win and a Broncos loss. Those are the only scenarios for those teams. We're going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to see how we're going to do this show tomorrow. I will be live at the Sun Bowl as well. I hope to see all of you all out there at the Sun Bowl. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. We're going into 2025 with a completely different mindset. The show is going to be a little different, so stick with that with me as well. To the Roku audience, I appreciate y'all, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Oh, hello. I'm Mike Tipton. I want to tell you about the perfect gift this holiday season. The Balber's dual-sided ergonomic design allows it to go both ways, meaning you can shave in either direction. The slim shape is optimal for trimming those hard-to-reach areas. It's also nut-safe, providing a 30-degree pivoting blade that is engineered for nut keeping. Say goodbye to the cuts, nicks, pulling, tugging, and snaps. If you're looking for stamina, it's got exactly what you need. With its long-lasting lithium rechargeable battery, it can last up to 150 minutes on one charge. The Balber is IPX7 waterproof, which means it can have fun, dry, or wet. Visit www.myhappynuts.com/Mike Tipton to give your man the perfect package for his package.